look forward to having a dialogue with you this morning. So our agenda real quick is Jessica has been kind enough to go through the introductions. I want to quickly talk a little bit about the history of project management, Six Sigma, and then this idea of lean, as well as the associated cousin, I would call to it, known as Agile, that we are all getting quite familiar with in the last 10, 15 years here. And then we'll get into the discussion of strategies for how to leverage Lean Six Sigma in the software world itself. Again, please feel free to post questions along the way as they come up, okay? So real quick about myself, I have had opportunity in the last 14, 15 years of working in various parts of the world. This is not so sunny in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's a very typical day there. This is a view of my front yard. I had an opportunity to work with the Premier's office there to do some lean work. This is a rare sunny day where we were actually had a clean. Then I moved on to do some work in the Saskatchewan area with the IBM practice there. And after that, I decided I'd had enough and I needed to come back to warmer pastures back in California. Since then, I've had opportunity to do some projects in Dubai. I'm currently doing some research in the Agile space at Schema Business School in France. Doing some work with the Qatar Foundation in Doha, and also doing some projects up in Vancouver. So it's a busy time, which is good though. So, brief history of project management. Many of us know that project management has been around for quite some time. We continue to be mesmerized by the pyramids, the Great Wall of China. All of this obviously required some expert project management expertise. Management Institute itself came into existence sometime in the 1960s as a result of some of the work in the Navy military space. And then, the software industry started capturing interest in the 1980s, right after manufacturing, and that is when the ideas of Six Sigma first came about formally, although its ideas and thoughts have been around for a while, but it formally got formalized in the 80s, and of course towards the tail end of that decade is when Lean really came into existence, again formally, although we've probably been doing it comfortably since the 1960s at least. And this idea of Agile again got formalized in the 1990s, and then 2001 is where the Agile Manifesto got written. Agile here because I'll be trying to connect the relationship between Lean and Agile for you a little later in this conversation. While they're not the same, there is definitely a relationship there, and there's a complementary setup there for us to talk about for sure. Okay, in terms of methodologies, there's this term methodology that is thrown out there. I want to just throw out a definition there so we're all clear on what I mean by that. Methodology is a set of processes and practices performed in a very specific way to accomplish a project, to basically deliver value. And again, going back to Agile for a second, Agile is a family of methodologies. Okay, so there are all kinds of methodologies that fall under this thing known as Agile. And some of these you would be very familiar with. They are quite popular out there in fashion right now. Like Scrum is, quite popular right now. It is a methodology, especially in North America. A lot of people seem to be interested in talking about Scrum. Extreme programming is also fairly popular out there. And then there's the idea of lean software development, okay, which I say is not necessarily a direct Agile methodology, but lean and Agile values are really closely aligned, okay? It's really a set of principles that have been taken from the lean manufacturing approaches, and they've been applied to the software development area. So some of the common ground between lean and agile that we would see here is that, lean seeks to eliminate waste, which is known as muda, the Japanese term muda. And there's several types of waste. Generally, they're seen as 7 types of waste. To maximize value, essentially, what we're trying to do is we're trying to minimize waste in our software development lifecycle. So for software systems, waste could take the form of partially done work, delays, energy in handoffs, unnecessary features, right? Those are some of the things that would be seen as waste. So what we're trying to do by eliminating waste in the software development lifecycle is to increase the value we're getting from projects, developing ways to identify and then reduce or even remove waste. Other concepts where the lean and agile families cross into and find some common ground is to empower the team. So this is a general sort of philosophy that applies to both agile and lean. Rather than taking sort of a really micro management type of approach, what we are encouraged to do is to empower the team to respect the team member's superior knowledge, and let them make decisions, to empower them, make them self-directed, self-organizing, those type of things. Another area of common ground would be to deliver fast, right, and focus on value-driven delivery, right? So we are really focusing on the project's ROI, return on investment, by quickly delivering valuable software early on, and we're going through iterations, okay? Again, we try to optimize the whole. This is a term that, again, aligns with both the agile and lean. We need to see the system as more than the sum of its parts, okay? So we go beyond the pieces of the project and look for how it aligns with the organization as a whole. So we take the context into account, like how is this, going to influence the intergroup relations? How is this going to deliver value to the organization as a whole? The whole mothership needs to be looked at here. And another key common ground between agile and lean is the area of quality. So we try to build quality in. So concepts like test-driven development or acceptance test-driven development, which is, taught here, is, again, something that is that has its roots in the agile, in the lean world, I apologize. We try to defer decisions, right, until the last responsible moment in the agile world, right? So we balance early planning with making decisions and committing to things as late as responsibly late as possible, okay? It allows us to be comfortable in terms of embracing change as late as possible in the game. We try to be as flexible and nimble as possible. Again, principles that have been taken from the lean world. And I'd like to say here is the idea of amplified learning, which, in the Scrum world is known as retrospectives and things like that. Again, this is something that comes from our lean background. This concept involves facilitating communication early and often, getting feedback as soon as possible, building on what we can learn, right? Software projects are business and technology learning experiences. So we need to start soon and keep learning, okay? So lean gives us a number of techniques and concepts such as value stream mapping. Again,